V1 should be equal to 60 volt, right? And your V2, this should be equal to 40 volt. V2, this should be 8 cross 5 ohm, so this should be equal to 40 volt. Now, so these voltages, if you look at the direction of these voltages are in the same direction, that is their terminals. If you just consider this clockwise cycle direction, we are considering this clockwise cycle direction, right? So what will be the voltages? The voltages will get summed up, the voltages will get added up, right? Because this is plus and again this is minus and plus, so this is getting summed up. This is actually nothing, but this configuration is becoming like this, and then this is connected to like this. See, just look at the voltage sources. Okay, so this is just becoming like this. Okay, so these two voltage sources will get added up, 60 volt plus 40 volt, and the resistors are in series, so this gets added up and you get the current through the 2 ohm resistor. You get the current through the 2 ohm resistor because it's a series circuit. Current will remain same across all the resistances, so the current through the 2 ohm resistor will be 10 ohm. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just you try to do, I am giving you another problem, so you just try to solve this on your own, right? So you just try to solve this problem. You have to calculate the voltage across this RL resistance, right? By source conversion technique, you have to calculate the voltage across the RL resistance, and the value of RL is 4 ohm given to you, and the rest of the resistance values and voltage value has been given here. So you need to calculate the voltage across the RL resistance. So please everyone do this. Everyone please do this problem. So you have to do the source conversions for this problem 2 or more times. And please everybody copy and keep this problem as well, because this problem is important for your exam. I mean, the values might be changed, but the process and how to do it, the methods, this is important for the source conversion technique. So please do this problem. Let me know when you are done. Okay, so has anybody done this, or should I explain it to you?
Sir, please explain it to us.
Okay, okay, so I'm just explaining it to you. So first, so just look at this part of the circuit first. Okay, so I am just looking at this part of the circuit. So you are asked that you have to use the source conversion technique, right? So this is a voltage source with a resistance in series. So if we are using the source conversion technique, right? So we have to convert the voltage source into the current source. So what it will become? So this part of the circuit gets changed to a 10 ampere. How is it 10 ampere? Because this was 40 volt divided by 4 ohm. So the current source is becoming 10 ampere with the 4 ohm resistance in parallel. So 10 ampere current source with the 4 ohm resistance in parallel, right? Okay, now just forget about this. So you are having this part, this is as the circuit. So now what we are considering, now you see this 4 ohm and this 12 ohm, this both these resistances are in parallel with 10 ampere. So we will find the equivalent resistance of these two parts. So we are considering, we are taking this 12 ohm next into consideration. Okay, now the equivalent resistance of these two resistance is 3 ohms. The equivalent resistance of these two resistance is 3 ohm. So we are again getting 3 ohm, right? Now this 10 ampere, this current will get divided into two parts, but we are not considering this. So we are again converting this into a voltage source. Next step is we are again converting this into a voltage source. So this will become 30 volt with 3 ohm and 2 ohm in series. This 3 ohm and 2 ohm in series, right?
Sir, why are we converting it back to voltage source?
See, the problem has been given that you have to do the problem using source conversion technique. So one thing you can do, so if you are just applying this current here and you need to calculate the voltage across RL, so you see the current first gets divided here in these two parts. Next, the current, this part of the current will again get divided into this section and this section, right? So you can do it by the current division rule. You can do it by the current division rule. But here you have been specially mentioned that you have to use the source conversion technique. So what I am doing here, we are just converting, we are just keeping the problem simple, and we are just considering this source conversion. Okay.
Yes, sir, got it.
So, because see, you can apply here once the current division rule. So if you are applying here the current division rule, so this will become say 4 ampere, this will be 6 ampere. Now here again 6 ampere will get divided into two parts, one on the 20 ohm part and one in on this part. So by that method also you can calculate, right? So by that method as well you will get here say something say that 6 ampere gets divided here as well by some equations, there is 8 ohm and 20 ohm, but we are just concentrating on this source conversion technique. So what is happening, this 3 ohm into 10 ampere, so this is again becoming a voltage source. We are converting the 10 ampere current source into an equivalent voltage source, and what we are generating, this 30 volt in series with a 3 ohm resistance. Okay, so 3 ohm and 2 ohm, so these two again become series. So what is the resistance here? 5 ohm, right? This is the resistance here is 5 ohm. So once again we will apply the source conversion. Okay, so this is use of the source conversion multiple times. So when we are using this, so this is becoming 6 ampere, this resistance is 5 ohm, and this is 20 ohm, right? 6 ampere, 5 ohm, this is 3 plus 2, this is 5 ohm, 6 ampere current source having a 5 ohm resistance in series with a 20 ohm resistance in parallel and a 4 ohm resistance here and 4 RL. So if you just finally make out of this, so this 5 ohm and 20 ohm, you get the equivalent resistance to be here 4 ohm. So 6
Yeah.
ampere into 4 ohm is 24 volt. So 4 ohm, 4 ohm, and here you have 4 ohm given as RL. So the voltage across RL will be 4 into 2 is equal to 8 volts. 4 into 2 is equal to 8 volt. So I can repeat this if anybody is having a problem. This is just application of source conversion technique multiple times in a single problem.
Sir,
Anybody is
can you explain? Sir, can you explain it once from third conversion that we have
third
taken?
conversion means this one.
Yeah, sir. 30 volt to 6 ampere.
Okay, so 30 volt to 6 ampere is 30 volt divided by 3 plus 2 ohm. So you just consider this part of the circuit. We are doing the source conversion for this part of the circuit. So it's 30 volt and total resistance in series is 5 ohm. So this will become 6 ampere. 30 divided by 3 plus 2 is 6 ampere with 5 ohm in parallel. Okay. Now just consider this part of the circuit. Consider the 20 ohm along with this. So similarly, as of second step, this 5 ohm and 20 ohm, this is giving an equivalent resistance of 4 ohm. Correct. So 4 ohm into 6 ampere. 4 ohm into 6 ampere. So the total voltage will be, so this is becoming actually nothing but 6 ampere with 4 ohm in parallel. So if you convert this into voltage source once again, so this is becoming 24 volt into 4 ampere in series, and 4 ohm and RL was already existing here, and RL is equal to 4 ohm. 4 ohms already given in the problem. So what you are having, this total current in the circuit is 24 volt divided by 4 ohm plus 4 ohm plus 4 ohm, that is 2 ampere. So this 2 ampere, this is the total current in the circuit flowing in this circuit. So 2 ampere will be flowing across this RL as well. So the voltage across RL will be equal to 8 volt. Okay. You can ask me any doubts, because source conversion technique, this problem is important because this type of problem comes in your exam, and if it is given use source transformation, then you have to use source transformation, or else what you can do, I said that in the first step use source transformation, and then you can use this current division rule multiple times, but that might make the problem a bit more complex, because there might be several branches, and so one after one current division you will get a current across one of the branches, and then again you have to apply the current division to get the current across this load resistance. Okay, so is this clear, or anybody is having any doubt, or we will move on to the nodal analysis part? Okay, then should we move on to the nodal analysis part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is clear to everybody, I guess. Okay, so let's move on to the nodal analysis part. I will just explain nodal analysis once again. Okay, so just let me present this. So before I talk about the nodal analysis part, just tell me, okay, just tell me, what do you mean by a node? What do you mean by a node? Anybody answer, what do you mean by a node?
So it's a junction.
There is a difference between a node and a junction.
Sir, a
Yes,
point where the current gets divided.
Divided.
yes, you can say it's a point where the current gets divided, or you can also say that it's an equipotential point where two or more circuit elements are joined. Where two or more circuit elements are joined. You can also say like this. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a node and what is a junction? So I will just explain it to you. See, a junction is a point where three or more circuit or three or more branches are joined. Three or more branches are joined. That is a junction. But if two points are connected at the equipotential points, two equipotential points are connected in a single point, that is a node. Okay, so just consider this circuit. So in this circuit, this point here, this point where I am placing the cursor, this point is a node. But you see, look at this point here, three circuit elements are getting connected. So you can term this as a junction, but you cannot term this as a junction. This you can term this as a junction. This is a node as well, but you can term this as a junction as well. But this is not a junction. This is not a junction. Okay. So what is a junction? So a node and this is a junction. So this is the difference between a node and a junction. Okay. And now define me what is a branch. Now define me what is a branch. Tell me what is a branch. Somebody tell me what is a branch.
Sir, branch is the connection between nodes.
A branch is a connection between nodes. Yes, you can say a branch is that part of the element or that part of the circuit which is consisting of a voltage source or a resistor. That also you can say. Okay. And one more thing you can say is that branch is that part of the network which is lying between any two junction points, which is connecting the junction points. A branch is connecting the junction points or the node points, you can say as well. And most importantly, it should consist of a single element, that is a single circuit element. That can be a voltage source, that can be a resistor, but a branch should consist of a circuit element. Right. So this is a branch. Now next, these are the basic terminologies that you need to know before we move on to the nodal analysis and the mesh analysis. Right. Now next, let me tell me which is a loop. So as you can see by the definition, a loop is any closed path in a circuit. A loop is any closed path in a circuit. Okay. Now I will just explain it to you, the difference between a loop and a mesh. But before that, please concentrate on this equation. This is a mathematical equation that will let you know how many loops are there if you know the number of nodes and the number of branches. Okay, so this is a general relation between the branches, the nodes and the independent loops. So this is B is equal to L plus N minus 1. B is equal to L plus N minus 1. So this is the number of loops. This is the number of loops, or this is the number of branches that you can calculate from any equation. Okay, now just get back to this figure which I was explaining to you. So can you just calculate from this that how many loops should be there in this diagram? Or just let me know how many nodes are there in this diagram. First tell me how many nodes are there in this diagram.
Sir, 2.
Two. Which two?
Sir, the middle of R2 and R4,
Okay.
and after R4, the point after R4.
Okay.
Yes,
But
sir.
see, I am just telling you one thing, that is a node is that part of the circuit which can connect two circuit elements, which connects two or more circuit elements. So by that definition, so this should be this is one node, this is one node, 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So basically you are having 5 nodes in the circuit. Okay. Is this clear? Because when I am talking about nodes, you just look at this diagram, right? You just look at this diagram. So when I'm talking about nodes, so if I'm considering this circuit, this is, say this is the original circuit, right? Say this is the original circuit. Okay, now you see, if you go by the definition, you can have this, see, 1 node, 2 node, 3 node, 4 node, 5, 6, 7, 8. But these 3 nodes are equipotential. These 3 nodes are equipotential, so you can calculate this as a single node. These 3 nodes are equipotential, so these 3 nodes can be considered as a single node, right? This is 1 node. This entirely 3 nodes make up a single node, and these 4 nodes are again equipotential, so this makes up another node. So basically in this circuit, you see, you are having 3 nodes. So when I'm considering this original circuit, so if I consider, say this is 1 node, this is 1 node, this is 1 node, but these 3 are not different nodes. These 3 are equipotential. So this 3 will make up a single node. Again, if you consider this 4 will make up a single node, because these 4 are equipotential. And this will be another node because it is connecting 2 elements that are placed in series. So basically in this circuit, you are having 3 nodes. In this circuit, you are having 3 nodes, right? Now tell me, how many branches are there? How many branches are there? So a branch is that part which is consisting any circuit element, right? A branch is that part which is consisting any circuit element. So here, this branch is consisting a circuit element. This branch is consisting a circuit element. This branch is consisting a circuit element. This one is consisting a circuit element. This one is consisting a circuit element. So basically, in this circuit, there are 5 branches. So you are having 3 nodes and you are having 5 branches, right? So if you just look at this formula, just put the value of B5, N3, and if you calculate this, your L should come out as 3. Your L is coming out as 3, right? So get back to this circuit. So how many loops do you have? So what is a loop? A loop is a closed path. So you just look at this. So this is a closed path. This CAB, this part, this is a closed path. This is another closed path, and this is another closed path. So basically what you are having 3 independent loops. Okay. So when I'm considering a circuit, you need to first figure out which are the nodes, how many are the branches. If you know how many nodes, if you know how many branches, and if you know there are how many independent loops, then you can go for nodal analysis or mesh analysis. But first you need to identify the number of nodes, the number of branches, and the number of loops. So basically here you see you are having 5 branches, you are having 3 nodes, and the number of loops is coming out to be 3. 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? Akash?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So this is how you calculate the number of loops, number of branches, and number of nodes, right? Now, so what is the difference between a loop and a mesh? So this is the last thing. These are the basic terminologies. That is why I am telling you. So what is the difference between a loop and a mesh? So when I am talking about a loop and I am talking about a mesh, so just keep in mind, an independent loop is called a mesh. An independent loop is called a mesh. So why I am saying this? So you see, you could have considered this entire thing as a single loop. You could have considered this entire thing as a single loop, right? So this 5 ohm, 2 ampere and 10 volt, this is also making a closed path. So this is also a loop, but this is not an independent loop. So what is an independent loop? An independent loop is that loop which does not contain any other loop within itself. An independent loop or a mesh. So a mesh is nothing but an independent loop. So a mesh or an independent loop is that loop which does not contain any other loop within itself. So when I am talking about, so here you see, just focus on this. Again, you will see this L is given as the independent loops. So this is nothing but this is giving you the number of meshes. Independent loops is given by L. So this is actually giving you the number of mesh that is formed. Okay. So L independent loops, or you can tell this as mesh. Okay. So you're having this is one mesh, this is one mesh, and this is another mesh, right? But you can have loop. A mesh is a loop. A mesh, all the meshes are loops, but all loops are not meshes, right? So this is a mesh and a loop, but this entire is a loop but not a mesh. So this is a mesh, this is a mesh, this is a mesh, and loop, you can consider any closed path as a loop in the circuit. Okay, clear? Difference between a loop and a mesh?
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes,
show
sir.
the previous slide.
Yes.
Sir,
Anything?
can you
Sure.
please show the previous slide? Can you please show it?
Okay, sure. This one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can change now.
Okay. Okay, so this is clear, right? Now we will just get back to what we were saying, that is the steps in node analysis. So basically, when I am talking about the steps in node analysis, so basically let us say we are considering this. So first is how to determine the node voltages. So when I am considering the node analysis, we are actually calculating the node voltages. So what are the steps? Right? What are the steps? So first is we need to select a node as the reference node. So how do you denote a reference node? You should denote a reference node either by this symbol, which is common ground, or by this symbol, that is ground, or this symbol, which is meant by chassis. So you can refer or you can draw this as any one of the symbols. So basically, first you need to select any one node as the reference node. Right? Now you will be applying or you will be assigning voltages to each of the remaining n-1 nodes. So let us say there are n number of nodes. So you are selecting one node as the reference node, that is the node with the ground potential and having the zero potential, and you are assigning voltage V1, V2 up to Vn-1 to the remaining n-1 nodes. Right? Now these voltages are referred with respect to the reference node. Next, what you will do, you will be applying KCL. Now, do you know what is KCL? So what is KCL? Just tell me what is KCL. Anybody tell me what is KCL? KCL is the Kirchhoff's current law. Do you know Kirchhoff's current law?
Yes, sir. Summation of current at the junction is 0.
Yes, summation of current. So this is the Kirchhoff's laws. So what is the Kirchhoff's current law? What is the Kirchhoff's current law stating? It is stating that the algebraic summation of the currents entering a node or a closed boundary is 0. Okay, so see, this is, say, let us say this is a terminal, or this is a node, right? So these two current are entering a node. These three currents are entering a node, I1, I3 and I4, while I2 and I5 are leaving a node. Okay, so if you are applying Kirchhoff's current law, this is by convention, right? That the currents entering a node, we take those currents as positive. The currents entering a node, we take those currents as positive. And the currents leaving a node, we take those currents as negative. So when we are mathematically doing this, so the Kirchhoff's current law, so this will become I1 plus I3 plus I4 minus I2 minus I5. This will be equal to 0. So if you are writing this, okay, so this will become, if you are just writing this, so this becomes your I1 plus I3 plus I4 minus I2 minus I5 is equal to 0. So this should be the summation, because the currents leaving the node are represented as negative, the current entering a node are considered to be positive. So when I am writing this, sigma in is equal to 0, and we are considering this circuit, okay, so this should be I1 plus I3 plus I4 minus I2 minus I5, and this should be equal to 0. Okay, is this clear? So this is your Kirchhoff's current law. So Kirchhoff's current law, when I am applying the Kirchhoff's current law for a particular node, we would just concentrate on the currents, right? And we will make the summation of the currents equal to 0 at that particular node, following the conventions. Following the conventions in that particular node, we will be doing the total current will be equal to 0. Okay, so is this clear? Next, so what we are doing, we are applying KCL to each of the n-1 non-reference nodes, right? And we will use the Ohm's law to calculate the branch currents in terms of node voltages. So if you are considering, so we have already assigned node voltages here to remaining n-1 nodes. Now considering the node voltages and the branch resistance, we will calculate the current in that particular branch, considering the node voltages. And then we will get a set of equations. If we calculate or if we solve the set of equations, we will get the node voltages. We will get the node voltages, right? So let us see what we are doing. So this is first, that is we are indicating a reference node. Now let us say we are considering this circuit. Okay, so how many nodes are there? See, this is one node, this is one node, and this is one node. Out of this we have taken as the reference node, right? So this reference node, we will term it as 0. The reference node, we will term it as 0. And the other two nodes will be termed as 1 and 2. Okay. And we are calculating, or we are stating this terminal as voltage V1 and this terminal or this node as voltage V2. So clear till now? Any questions you have, you can ask me. Any questions you are having? Anybody? Any questions? Is this clear? Anybody?
Clear, sir.
Okay, Shubham, any questions? Shubham, is this clear? Okay. So, see, we are just considering this. Okay. Now, so this is, so let's say this was the circuit current. Okay. So we are considering the currents through these different branches. The current through this, let us say as I1. The current through this, let us take as I2. And the current through this branch, let us take as I3. Okay. Now next, you see. So what is total I1? What should be total I1? This I1, this should be equal to, at this junction, the current is getting divided into three parts. At this junction, the current is getting divided into three parts, right? So one is this current I1, one is this current I2, and one is this current capital I2. So what is I1? What is total I1? I1 is capital I2 plus small I1 plus small I2. Just focus on this point. Okay, focus on this point. I am just focusing on this junction, right? So this is I2 plus I1 plus I2. Clear? Okay. Now focus on this terminal. So basically what you have, you need to have only two nodes. Here you have only two nodes. So basically when you are focusing on this, right? So when you are focusing on this terminal, so what should be this? So see this I2 and this I2, the capital I2 and small I2 gets added up here to form the total current I3. In this point, this I2 and this I2, these two, look at the directions. So that will help you to understand this capital I2 plus small I2 will be equal to I3. Okay. Next, how do you calculate I? So your calculation of I should be V higher minus V lower by R. So see for this I1. So what should be I1? What should be I1? This terminal is V1. This point is 0 because we have considered this node to be ground. So this is V1. This is 0. So your I1 should be V1 minus 0 by R1. V1 minus 0 by R1. Your I1 should be V1 minus 0 by R1. Right? Next, consider I2. What is I2? I2 is V1 minus V2 by R2. V1 minus V2 by R2. So why I am taking V1 as higher and V2 as lower? Can you tell me? Why I am considering V1 as higher and V2 as lower? Because you see, for a series circuit, there will be any voltage drop when current flows through a resistance. So basically, if current is flowing from V1 terminal to V2 terminal across the resistance R2, there will be a voltage drop across R2, which is equal to I2 R2, right? So this V2 will be at lower potential than V1. So V1 minus V2 by R2. And what is I3? I3 is V2 minus 0 by R3. V2 minus 0. So this is 0. V2 minus 0 by R3. So from this, you are individually getting what is I1, what is I2, and what is I3. Clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Anybody is having any doubts? Shubhodip, Shubhrodip, Shumon, any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what I am doing, so you see, we are now just replacing the values. We are now just replacing these values in place of I1, I2, and I3, right? Because capital I1 and capital I2, these two will be given to you. Capital I1 and capital I2, these two will be given to you. So you need to calculate the node voltages, right? That is the purpose of nodal analysis. You need to calculate the voltages at individual nodes. So you have to calculate V1, V2. So we have put all the equations we have brought in V1 and V2 terms. R1, R2, R3, and capital I1, capital I2, these values are given to you. So we are just putting the equations, and that is, we are designing the equations. We are getting this as I1 equal to I2 plus V1 by R1, small I1. Here we got small I1. Okay. This we got as small I1. So that is I1 is V1 by R1, I2 is V1 minus V2 by R2. That is what we are writing here. That is V1 by R1 plus V1 minus V2 by R2. Similarly, here we are getting. So we are getting, you see, two equations in terms of V1 and V2. So if you solve this, you can calculate V1 and V2 separately. If you solve this, you can calculate V1 and V2 separately. Okay. Is this clear? So just look at this example. So I think this is the, is this clear? Now you can solve this simultaneously as well, or you can solve this by matrix method, but this might get a little bit complex. So I would prefer you to solve it by simultaneous equation method, because there are only two unknowns, V1 and V2. Okay. So if you opt for this might get a bit difficult. Okay, and what is G1? What is G1 being represented here? Can you tell me what is G1 being represented here?
Conductance.
Yes, conductance. That is 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. These are conductances. So you can do this by this method, or I would ask you to do, I would prefer you to do this by simultaneous method. That would be easier for you. Okay. So just let us see, we are considering cell. So see, almost identical problem. We are just now putting the values. So you see, you have this 2 ohm, 4 ohm and 6 ohm. You have two current sources, 10 ampere and 5 ampere, right? So if you just calculate this, so this I3, so there's a difference from the previous problem. Can you note the difference? Can you just tell me what is the difference here? So just look at this. This I1, okay, this current flowing through this I1, this will be in opposite to I2 and I3. So this I1 is becoming at node 1. So we are considering this as node 1. We are considering this as node 2. We are considering this as node 1, and we are considering this as node 2. Okay. And this is node 2. So voltage at node 1 is V1, voltage at node 2 is V2. Voltage at node 1 is V1, voltage at node 2 is V2. Now the current is flowing in this direction. The current is flowing in this direction. So your I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. And what is I1? Since you do not have any resistance here, right? So this I1 will be equal to 5 ampere. This I1, this current flowing through this branch, this will be entirely 5 ampere. What is I2? V1 minus V2 by 4. And what is I3? V1 minus 0 by 2. So at this node, you are getting 5 ampere is equal to V1 minus V2 by 4 plus V1 minus 0 by 2. Right. Now consider at node 2 here, node 2. So here the total current is I2 plus I4. I2 is flowing in this direction, I4 is flowing in this direction. So both these directions, so these are incoming at this node. Apply KCL here. For KCL, the currents entering a node should be positive, the currents leaving a node should be negative. Or you can say the currents entering a node should be equal to the summation of the currents leaving the node, right? So at this node, that at node V2, your I2 plus I4, this should be equal to I1 plus I5. At node 2, that is this node, your I2 plus I4 should be equal to I1 plus I5. That is, what is I2? What is I2? I2 is V2 minus V1 by 4. I1 is equal to 5 and I4 is equal to 10. So if you just rearrange this and write, so this is becoming, actually I will just like to tell you so why this is being represented like this. So the this is I4 minus I1 is 5, that 5 has been written here. I2 is V1 minus V2 by 4. So when you are changing the side here, this is becoming V2 minus V1 by 4 plus I5 is V2 minus 0 by 6. Is this clear? Or should I repeat this? Is this clear or should I repeat this?
Clear, sir.
Clear.
Repeat or clear?
Clear.
Okay. So this is at node 2. Now you just calculate this and you will get the values of the equation. Okay.
Can
Sir, can you show that? Yes.
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Note 2.
Node 2. I will just explain it to you. So just
I1 plus I5.
I'm just telling. See, I2, I will just write it here so that it is clear to you. See, I2, which is I2? This one is I2. So what should be your I2? Your I2 should be equal to V1 minus V2 by 4. This is V1 minus V2 by 4. Okay. Okay. I4, what is I4? Your I4 is 10 amps. Okay. I1 is equal to 5 amps. Right? And what is I5? I5 is equal to V2 minus 0. This is because this is the reference node. So V2 minus 0 by 6. So this is clear till now? So I am just putting this in this equation. So what is I2? I2 is V2 minus 1 by 4. V1 minus V2 by 4. So I am just putting it here. Right? In this equation, I am putting the values in this equation. I4 is 10 amps. This will be equal to I1, which is 5 amps. Plus, this will be equal to V2 minus 0 by 6. Right? So, if you just change the side, so this will be 10 minus 5, right? This will be equal to minus of this value plus this value. Right? So this is giving you, returning you this as 5 equal to V2 minus V1 by 4 plus V2 minus 0 by 6. At node 2, I4 and I2 are entering the node, I1 and I5 are leaving the node. So according to KCL, right, that is the total currents entering a node should be equal to the sum of the currents leaving the node. Right? So your I2 plus I4, that must be equal to I1 plus I5. We are just putting the values here and we are getting this equation. Is this clear now? How this is coming? 5 is equal to V2 minus V1 by 4.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Sir, can you show node 1, please?
Node 1, yes. I will show you node 1. This is node 1. Which is node 1? This one is node 1. So you see, I2 and I3 are leaving the node. I1 is entering the node. I1 is 5 ampere. I2 is V1 minus V2 by 4. And I3 is V1 minus 0 by 2. V1 minus 0, you are not having, you are having this terminal again here. So V1 minus 0 by 2, V1 minus V2 by 4, and I1 is 5 ampere. So this is one equation, and the next equation you got from there. Now you solve these two equations and you find out the value of V1 and V2. You find out the values of V1 and V2.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in the first node, we should consider the 6 ohm resistance as well, right?
In the first node.
Yes, sir.
Why? I mean, because the currents, you are considering the only the currents concentrated in this node, right?
Yes, sir.
So here you see this is, so this is one branch, this is one branch, and this is one branch. In these three branches, you are not having the 6 ohm. So why should you consider 6 ohm resistance?
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Concentrate on each node. We are considering this node, you are having 3 branches, this branch, and this branch, that is consisting of the currents I1, I2 and I3. So in these 3 branches, you do not have this 6 ohm. When you are considering node 2, you will be considering this 6 ohm. So this one branch, this is another branch, this is another branch, this is another branch. So these 2 junctions or these 2 nodes, then you will consider. Okay. Any questions regarding this? So you can copy the problems stepwise. You need to calculate it, and please copy this problem as your practice problem. Okay. Please copy this problem as your practice problem. Please solve the problem and let me know the answer in the next class. This is your, as I mean, kind of say your, you can say your homework. Homework seems very like school, so I will just tell this is a practice problem. Let me know the answer in the next class. So I think we would just take, should we continue or should we take just a 3-4 minutes break, 5 minutes break?
So 5 minutes break.
Okay, so just 5 minutes break we are taking. We would rejoin at 10:40, right?
Sir, can you check this answer, sir? What is the
Yes,
problem?
yes, sure.
Sir, V2 is 13.33 volts and V1 is 2.22 volts. Previous one, sir.
Okay, that is the last one, the example problem, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, just I will check once. Right, I will just let you know. So I'm just letting you know. Just at 10:40 we will rejoin. I'm just letting you know. Both your answers are wrong, but please just check through the calculations once again. The answer should be V2 equals to 20 volt and V1 is equal to 13.33 volt.
Sir, V2 is
20 volt and V1 is 13.33 volt. So I will just check everybody. So if you just do this calculation here, okay. So if you do the node 1 calculation, your equation, this equation is coming out. Just check this. This equation is coming as.
So are you presenting something?
Okay, sorry. Yes, I'm presenting something, but I forgot to show it up. Okay. Yes. So is this now? This is visible, I think. So when I'm calculating this, so you see, if you just calculate this V, this at node 1, this node 1 here, this will come up as 3V1 by 4 minus V2 by 4. V1 by 4 minus V2 by 4 plus V1 by 2. So this is coming out as 3V1 by 4 minus V2 by 4. So this is one equation here, right? And for this equation, for the node 2 equation, if you calculate this, so this will come up as 5 is equal to 5V2 by 12 minus V1 by 4. This is one,
sir, it's coming, sir. 20 and 13.33.
right? So that is what I said. This is one equation coming up, and this is one equation coming up.
Sir, can you please tell the answer of the next question, not this one?
I mean, example 3.2.
Yes, sir, because I got that 2 too. for both.
Okay, okay, that is correct. That is correct. I thought you are asking for this problem, the previous problem. That is correct. Okay. Okay, now next let's move. So now up till now we were talking about the independent sources. Okay, we were talking about the independent sources. Now look at this problem. For example 3.2, what we will be considering, we will considering the dependent sources. We are considering one dependent source and one independent source. Okay, so you see, for this kind of problems, when you are given a dependent source, then see it is given 2ix. You know this is how a dependent source is denoted, aix. That is, this is a current dependent current source. And what is ix? This is ix. This is ix. Now let us say again here we are considering this as the reference node. We are considering here this as the reference node. Okay. Now what will be the equation at node 1? So node 1 is this one here. So this is the current 3 ampere and the current are getting divided into I1 and Ix. The current is getting divided into I1 and Ix. So what is I1? I1 is, what is I1? So this I1 will be flowing through this entire region. I1 will be flowing through this entire circuit here. So I1 is V1 minus V3 by 4. I1 is V1 minus V3 by 4. And Ix is V1 minus V2 by 2. This is Ix. So this is V1 minus V2 by 2. So you're at node 1, that is this node, at this node, okay, this is 3 is equal to, that is current entering a node is 3 and these two currents are leaving the node. So this is V1 minus V3 by 4 plus V1 minus V2 by 2, right? We move on to node 2, that is this node. So here you see at node 2, two currents are leaving, one current is entering. Two currents are leaving, this current and this current is entering. So here it becomes Ix is equal to I2 plus I3, I2 plus I3. What is I2? I2 is V2 minus V3 by 8 and I3 is V2 minus 0 by 4 and Ix is V1 minus V2 by 2. Okay, so here again you are getting an equation with V1, V2 and V3. Here you got an equation V1, V2 and V3 and there will be nodes, that is node 3. Okay, so at node 3, what equations are you having? I1 and I2 are converging and 2Ix is leaving. I1 and I2 are entering the node and 2Ix is leaving. Here this is 2Ix. So when I am considering here 2Ix, Ix is V1 minus V2 by 2. Here, from here we have got Ix is V1 minus V2 by 2. Right? So this I1 is V1 minus V3 by 4. This gets added up to V2 minus V3 by 8. And this will be equal to 2 into V1 minus V2 by 2. Okay. So this is how you get the node equations. Now you can calculate this by simultaneous equation method or you can calculate it by matrix method, whichever you would prefer. But how do you calculate it by matrix method? I will just give you a brief idea. So put all these equations in such a form that you get the equations in form of V1, V2 and V3. Okay, and all the constants in the other right hand side. So when you calculate this, you are getting this matrix V1, V2, V3 and 3, 0, 0. Then you have to apply the inverse matrix. Inverse matrix you have studied in class 11 and 12. That is inversion of the matrix you have to apply, multiply it with this and then you can get V1, V2 and V3. Okay. This is how you can get, or you can get it by simple simultaneous equation method. Simple simultaneous equation method, you can calculate the problems.
Sir, can you please
Okay.
show the slide?
This one on
No,
note
sir.
2. Note 2.
No. Yes, sir. Note 2.
Yes.
Sir, can you please show the other one? No, at note 3.
Yes. So any doubts, anybody? You can ask me if you're having any doubts. Okay. So keep in mind, okay, one thing I would just let you know, or just you can consider following the previous problems as well. See, for any diagram, so when you are considering this as a reference node. So how many nodes are there in this diagram? There are 4 nodes in the diagram. There are basically 4 nodes in the circuit. So when there are 4 nodes in the circuit, the minimum number of equations you require for nodal analysis is n minus 1 equations. The number of equations that you require for nodal analysis is n minus 1 equations. So let's say there are, for this problem, let us say for this problem, you had total number of 4 nodes. So you require at least 3 equations to solve the problem. So the number of equations required for nodal analysis, this must be equal to n minus 1 equations, where n is the number of nodes. Okay. So from this you can calculate the problems. Okay. Now next we will move on to the super node, but before that I would just like to show you some more important problems which are important for your exam. Just I am showing the problems from your Abhijit Chakraborty's book, Abhijit Chakraborty's Circuit Theory Analysis and System Synthesis, that I referred on the first day. I'm showing some problems from that. Okay.
So,
Yes.
sir, actually, I had a doubt for node 1 on the previous problem.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Just a minute. I will just come up with that. Node 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Node 1, yes. Tell me, what is the problem?
So,
Node 1.
so here I was wondering, why can't we write I1 plus I1 plus 3?
Why can't we write I1 plus 3? Okay. Just focus on this node. Okay, just focus on the node. So when you are looking from the node perspective, this 3 ampere is entering the node. 3 ampere is entering the node. And this 3 ampere is actually breaking up into 2 parts, I1 and Ix. So 3 ampere is entering the node 1, and this is getting divided into 2 parts of I1 and Ix. Okay, so these are the two I1 and Ix branches. If you can see look at my fingers, if I am visible. So I1 and Ix, these two are getting divided like this, and I1 is, so if this is the node, your I1 is coming up here, and then it is getting divided in these 2 parts. Okay. If your node was here, if your node was here, then you could have written I1 plus this. But this is not the case. You are considering this node. So at this node, this is getting broken into two terminals or two branches, I1 and IX. At this, from this node, the current is getting divided into two branches, I1 and IX. So automatically you need to write 3 is equal to I1 plus IX. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. And sir, how is I1 equal to V1 minus V3?
Yes, just look at this. Look at the. So what are the voltage terminals or what are the voltage drop across 4 ohm? I1 is the current across the 4 ohm resistance, right? I1 is the current across the 4 ohm resistance, right? So if you see what are the voltage, the higher potential voltage is V1 and the higher potential voltage and lower potential voltage is V3. So if you just look at this diagram, so this I1 is the current across this 4 ohm. So this V1 at this terminal also, at this point also, the voltage will be V1. At this point
Yes,
as well, the voltage will be V1. And at this point, the voltage will be V3. At this point, the voltage will be V3. Okay. See, at this point,
Yes,
we
sir.
have. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So your I1 will be V1 minus V3 by 4. This is the current, because you are not having any other voltage source or resistors or nothing across this branch. So I1 is the current across this branch. The voltages are V1 and V3. So this will be V1 minus V3 by 4. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am just showing you some important problems from your this Abhijit Chakraborty's book, right? I will just show you some important problems. So let's move on to the nodal analysis part. Just a second, just let me.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Sir, can't you share that PDF with us?
this one, this problems PDF.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I will share it. I will share it in your Google Classroom. I will share it in the Google Classroom, but just for explanation, I am just trying to help you out with 1 or 2 important problems, and I will share you this entire PDF. Do not worry. I will just do it after today's class only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, look at figure 2.40. Okay. Just look at figure 2.40. So I have been explaining to you till now using current sources, right? Now see, look at this point. Look at this problem. Here you have been given the problem with voltage sources. You have been given the problem with voltage sources. So nothing different you should do. So let us say these are the resistances given, these are the voltages given. Okay, these are the resistances, these are the voltages. Okay, now let us say we are considering this as node A, this as node B, this as node C, and this as node D. Node A, B, C, and D, right? So at node B, what will be the current? What will be the total current? So if this is your total current I, right? This is the total current. So this is I3 plus I2 plus I1. So this total current I is getting divided into I3, I2, and I1. Is this clear? This total current, if the current is flowing from this direction to this, we are considering, let us say the current is starting to flow from terminal A, that is voltage source E2, to voltage source E1. So the total current is I. The total current is getting broken into 3 branches of I1, I2, and I3. Is this clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, points V, B and C. Because they do not have any circuit element between B and C. The first thing that I explained to you, when three terminals are equipotential, we can consider it as a single terminal, right? So
Sir, can you repeat, because you were lagging, sir? Voice was
Okay.
lagging.
Okay, sure. I explained it to you at the first instant only, that when two nodes are equipotential, we can consider their voltage similar. So the voltage at node C and voltage at node B, these two will be equal because these two nodes are equipotential. Okay, so let us say we are considering the voltage to be V at node B and node C. Look at figure 2.56, node B and node C. These two are having the same voltages because they are equipotential, and their voltage, let us take this as V. So basically, we are down to two figures. We are down to only this current equation, I equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Okay, so what we are having two voltage sources. We already know the two voltages at the two nodes, and we are having one point as, or one node as the unknown voltage. One node as the unknown voltage. So what is I? What is total I? What is total I? Tell me what is total I? Total I is 20 minus V by 30. 20 minus V by 30, right? That is R4, right? Next is V minus 50 by R1. This is V minus 50 by R1. This is V minus 50 by R1. And what are these two? These two are resistances are in parallel, so you can make this as a single resistance, single equivalent resistance. These two terminals are equipotential, so these two terminals will also be equipotential. So this node is considered as the ground node. We are considering this node as the ground node. So this will become equal to V by R2 plus V by R3. That is V by 100 plus V by 120. From this you are getting V, and if you are put this, you can find out the current through R2. You have been asked to calculate the current through R2, that is here. If you are finding out V, you can calculate the current through R2. Is this clear? কারোর কোনো ডাউট থাকলে কিন্তু আমাকে বলো, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। This is one of the easier problems of nodal analysis because you already know that voltages at the two terminals. Only one terminal is unknown, one node is unknown, and that is also equipotential. So this is one of the easier problems of nodal analysis. Right. Okay, any questions? Okay, then what we do, we move on to the next problem. I can show you another important problem. Just look at figure 2.44. Everybody, no doubts in the previous question? No?
No, sir.
Okay, then please do 2.44. Try to do on your own, or else I will let you know. First try on your own, everybody, figure 2.44. Try to consider the nodes. Okay. Okay, I will, or else you can do one thing. I will give you this PDF. You please go through the numericals. Any doubt from any numerical, you let me know, right? Because this will be a little bit a lengthy process, lengthy sum you can say, because you have to consider all these nodes. If you take this node as the reference node, you still have this node here, you have this node here, so you have two nodes and then you have to calculate separately. So what is best is you do it, you just go through the problem. I will share with you this PDF. You just go through them and you just let me know if you're having any difficulties later. Okay. So what we will do, we will get back to the presentation and we will get back to what is the super node. What is a super node? Okay. We will get back to what is a super node. Okay. So okay, so we were here, we are just getting back to this. Now I explained to you that is nodal analysis with current sources, right? Now let us say we are considering nodal analysis with voltage sources. Nodal analysis is voltage sources. Now there can be two cases. There can be two cases for nodal analysis with voltage sources. The first case would be when the voltage source is connected between a non-reference node and a reference node. That you saw in the first problem that I displayed in the PDF. That is the first problem of your Abhijit Chakraborty's book. That was the first problem, where you had the voltage source connected between a reference node and a non-reference node. And the non-reference node voltage was equal to the magnitude of the voltage source. Okay. Therefore, as you already know that the voltage of one of the terminals, automatically the number of equations or the number of unknown voltages or the unknown non-reference nodes, the voltages of the unknown non-reference nodes will get reduced. That is what happened. You had three terminals or three nodes there, but two of the node voltages you already knew, so you had to calculate only one voltage. That was the example of the first problem, right? The next is where you can have a voltage source connected between two non-reference nodes. You can have a voltage source connected between two non-reference nodes, and this we term as a super node. This we term as a super node. I will just show you the diagram so that it is clear to you. See, this voltage is connected between this non-reference node and the reference node. This voltage source is connected between this non-reference node and this reference node. Okay, so this was what I was talking about in case 1. That is, the voltage source can be connected between the non-reference node and the reference node. So under this condition, what will happen? The non-reference node voltage will be equal to the magnitude of the voltage source. Okay, so under this condition, this V1 will have the voltage equal to 10 volt. V1 will be equal to 10 volt. But you can also have a voltage between two non-reference nodes. You can also have a voltage between two non-reference nodes. And this node, then this is considered as a generalized node, and we term this as a super node. So when I am working or when I am doing nodal analysis considering voltage sources, you can have two cases. One is this generalized case where you are having the voltage connected between this reference and the non-reference node. So the non-reference node voltage will be equal to 10 volt, or you can have the voltage connected between these two nodes, and this is then termed as a super node. This is then termed as a super node. So a super node is formed by enclosing a voltage source between two non-reference nodes and any elements connected in parallel with it. Two non-reference node and any node connected in, or any element connected in parallel to it. So if you look at this, so you are having this node or this element connected in parallel to this, and you are having this voltage between two non-reference node. So you can consider this as a single super node. You can consider this as a single super node. Okay. Next is the required two equations for regulating the two non-reference node voltage are obtained by just the KCL of the super node and the relationship of the node voltages due to the voltage source. So we are considering this as a single super node and we are applying the KCL at this super node. So just look at this, then you can understand. So what we are considering here, we have considered a super node here. You see, this is a super node here, right? Okay, this is a super node here. Now, this is a 2 volt between V1 and V2. So what we will do, we will individually first calculate the total currents. Okay, we will first calculate the total current and we will find out the node voltages. Okay, now you see, so this is a super node. This is a super node, right? So when I am considering a super node, this parallel branch, so this is considered as a single node. So this is becoming basically, if I am drawing this, so this circuit is becoming like this. So this is one node. Okay. Then we are having another node from here. This is your super node. Then we are having another node from here. Okay. And again we are having another node here. We are connecting this here. And we are joining these three. So this is the circuit this is becoming. So you are having here, you see, this is 2 ampere, this is 7 ampere. If you are considering this super node here, so this is V1 by 2 and V1 by 4. If you are calculating this, these two are becoming a single resistance. So V1 by 2, V1 by 4. So here the current was 2 ampere in the upward direction. At this node, this 7 ampere is leaving the node and this is the reference node. So when you are considering this as a super node, so this is 2 minus 7. So just look at this equation. This is 2 minus 7 minus I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. So when you are considering this as super node, this entire part is being considered as a single node. This entire part is being considered as a single node. So you are having one equation as just the current equation, 2 minus 7 minus I1 minus I2 is equal to 0, and your V1 minus V2, this will be equal to minus 2 volt. V1 minus V2, this will be minus 2 volt separately because this is having a reverse polarity. You see, this is having a reverse polarity. Is this clear?
So can you explain that 2 minus 7 minus I1?
I will just explain this to you. So this entire part is nothing but this part of the circuit. This is considered a super node. Okay, this is your super node. This entire encircled part is being considered as a single super node. Now we are applying KCL at this node only. We are applying KCL at this node. So see, this is your current 2 ampere entering 2 ampere entering here. 7 ampere is leaving from here. 7 ampere is leaving from here. So this is 2 minus 7. And this current, this is an equivalent circuit of this part. So 2 ohm and 4 ohm, we are considering this as a single resistance here. We are considering this as a single resistance here. So this is becoming V1 by 2 minus V1 by 4, because these two terminals, V1 by 2 and V2 by 4. So this is I1 and this is I2. These are the two currents here. So if you are considering this as a single node, if you are considering this as a single super node, this 10 ohm is included in this super node part. So this 10 ohm gets neglected. So what you are having is 2 minus 7, and here it is V1 by 2 and V2 by 4. So these are the two currents. Okay, V1 by 2 and V2 by 4. We are just considering the KCL at this super node. And V1 minus V2 is minus 2, because this polarities are reversed. Clear, or should I repeat once again?
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? Everybody? Any questions? Any questions from anybody? Because this you need to understand, the super node. This is a bit tricky one, because first let's see, you will be considering the each by definition. So what is a super node? A super node is formed by enclosing a voltage source connected between two non-reference nodes and any elements connected in parallel to it. So a super node is formed by enclosing any two nodes having a voltage source in between, and a resistance in parallel to it. So you are getting this as the super node. So this is what we are representing it here. Okay. Now here as well. So your V1 minus V2 will be equal to minus 2. And when you calculate this, this is 2 minus 7 minus I1 minus I2, because this is a super node. I1, I2 and 7 ampere. These three currents are leaving the super node while 2 ampere is entering the super node. So this is 2 minus 7 minus I1 minus I2. That is, you are getting one equation by this, and you are getting one equation by V1 minus V2 is minus 2 volt. So we are just going by the definition. So first we are identifying the super node, we are enclosing it, and we are considering that as a general super node. And then we are applying the KCL of the super node, and we are applying relationship of the node voltages due to the voltage source. So first one, this is KCL at the super node and the relationship of the node voltages based on the voltage source. So this is the first point equation, this is the second point equation. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? Any questions? Devabroto, any question?
No, sir.
Is this clear, right? This is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, you see another problem that is been given for your practice, I can say. So you can consider this problem, and you can consider this for your practice. Just everybody copy it down in your notebooks. This is for your practice, where two voltage sources are given. Out of that, one is a dependent voltage source, and you are also having two super nodes here, and you have to calculate the node voltages, that is V1, V2, V3 and V4. I have all this reference node has already been given to you, so you need to calculate the node voltages at V1, V2, V3 and V4. So please go through this problem, or please copy it down and try to do this. Okay. Now next we move
So the slide one.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I am showing you this one, 3.4. Please copy it down. Okay, so once you are done, let me know.
Done, sir.
Okay. So next is what we will be discussing is about your. So this was all about your node analysis part. I will be sharing you problems from node analysis part. Please go through those problems. And this was the entire theory of node analysis part. So nodal analysis, I think this is clear to everybody. So you can have problems having current sources, you can have problems having voltage sources, and you can have problems having super nodes. So this is entire about nodal analysis part, and nodal analysis and KCL, these two goes hand to hand, because at every node you have to apply KCL to find out the voltages across each of the nodes. So nodal analysis and KCL, these two goes hand to hand, right? Okay, now try to do that problem, or else we will just explain it in the next class. Now the next other technique to calculate the voltages, or you can calculate the current, or the other technique to solve the circuit is known as the mesh analysis. Okay, so one is nodal analysis, one is mesh analysis. And what is a mesh? I have already explained it to you. And how is it different from a loop? I have already explained this to you. Now when I am talking about a mesh analysis, so mesh analysis is a procedure for analyzing the circuits, and this is applicable for planar circuits. So planar circuits, what is a planar circuit? I will just explain it to you. So before that, what is a mesh? I have already told you with an example. That is, a mesh is a loop which does not contain any other loops within itself. A mesh is a loop which does not contain any other loops within itself. So this is what do I mean by a mesh. Now what do I mean by a planar circuit? Okay, so when I am talking about a planar circuit, so this is a planar circuit, that means which can be redrawn, a circuit which can be redrawn without any crossing branches is a planar circuit. A circuit which can be redrawn without having any crossing branches is a planar circuit. So look at this circuit. You can redraw this circuit, and you can have this as a simpler circuit. You can redraw this circuit and you can have this as a simpler circuit. Okay, and if you consider this, you see how many loops are there, or how many meshes are there. This is one mesh, this is one mesh, this is one mesh, this is one mesh, and this is one mesh, right? So how many meshes are there? There are how many meshes? There are 5 meshes.
5 meshes.
There are 5 meshes. Okay, so this is a planar circuit. Okay, this is a planar circuit. Next, this is a non-planar circuit. So you see, you are having another branch here. This is connecting here several number of parallel branches, and again they will be overlapping with another parallel branch. So where there are multiple crossover loops, that is known as a non-planar circuit. That is known as a non-planar circuit. Okay, so if you calculate this, or if you see, so how many nodes are there? If you consider this as a reference node, say we are considering this as the reference node, so this will be also a reference node. Still, how many nodes are there? See, this is one node, this is one node, 2, 3, 4, right? 5 and 6. So how many nodes are there? There are 6 nodes. If you see, if these two are having the same potential, so this node here, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You are having 6 nodes. So just keep this in mind. This is a general theory. If the number of meshes is less than the number of independent non-reference nodes, then we would choose to apply mesh analysis method. If the number of meshes is less than the number of independent nodes, we would prefer or we would choose mesh analysis method. And if the number of nodes are less than the number of meshes, then we will prefer nodal method. Okay, so number of mesh you can calculate. Number of mesh is the same as the number of independent loops, that is b minus n plus 1. Now if the number of meshes is less than n, then we will choose mesh analysis method, and if m is greater than n, we will choose the nodal analysis method. Okay, so this is the basis of the mesh analysis. Okay, and I explained to you what is a planar circuit, what is a non-planar circuit. The next day we will be doing the determination of the mesh currents. Another difference I would like to say, so what was nodal analysis used for? To calculate what? We used nodal analysis to calculate the nodal voltages, right? We used the nodal analysis to calculate the nodal voltages, but we will be using mesh analysis to calculate the mesh currents. So nodal analysis for nodal voltage, mesh analysis for mesh currents, right? And mesh analysis is applicable for planar circuit. Nodal analysis can be applicable for any kind of circuit. So these are the some differences that you should know between node analysis and mesh analysis. And if the number of meshes is less than number of independent nodes, then you use mesh analysis. If number of nodes is less than number of meshes, then you use nodal analysis. So these are some of the basic differences that you should know between the mesh and the node analysis. So next day we will be starting off by determining the current through mesh current. So I have given you 2 practice problems from nodal analysis. I would be also sharing with you the PDF with the numerical problems. Please go through them and let me know if you have problem in the next class. Okay, so any questions from anybody before I go to the attendance? You can ask me any questions. Any questions or any questions from any of the topics covered till now? You can ask me, or we will go to the attendance. Yes, I will share the notes. Do not worry. That is why I made the Google Classroom. I will also share that note on Start Delta, which you have in your this group. I will share that so that you have all your notes in the common platform. Okay, I will share this note as well. I will share the node analysis part as well. Sorry, this source conversion technique node as well. Any other doubts? Anybody? Okay, so just tell me, have you been able to install that PSpice part? I shared a PDF with you having the PSpice part. So have you been able to install that? Okay, so everybody has been able to install.
No sir, আমি ওই কারণেই কিছুক্ষণ আগে ওই নারায়ণ স্যারকে ফোন করেছিলাম। আসলে আমার কম্পিউটার নেই তো আমার একটু প্রবলেম হয়ে যাচ্ছে স্যার, ওটা মোবাইলে করা যাচ্ছে
মোবাইলে তো অত বড় ফাইল ইনস্টল করা মুশকিল।
না ইনস্টল করে স্যার, মানে ইনস্টল না মানে ডাউনলোড করছি, ডাউনলোড করার পর দেখাচ্ছে দিস ফাইল কুড নট বি ওপেন ইন মোবাইল, এরকম কিছুটা লেখা আছে।
হতে পারে মোবাইলে তোমার সবকটা ইয়েতে সফটওয়্যার সাপোর্ট করবে না, ওই জন্য বললাম যে চেষ্টা করো একটা ল্যাপটপ বা ডেস্কটপ কোনোভাবে কোথাও